Patrick Radden-Keefe joins me now. He's an investigative journalist and the author of Empire of Pain, The Secret History of the Sackler Dynasty. Patrick, thanks. The Sackler family widely blamed for profiting from this public health crisis, but they still seem to be negotiating one way or another, still seem to be pulling the strings like a puppeteer.
Yeah, it's this fascinating thing. First of all, just the idea that this story would resolve itself in bankruptcy court, right? You have pretty much every state in the union suing Purdue Pharma. Half of the states initiated lawsuits against individual Sackler family members who were on the board of the company. And yet this whole thing is going to get resolved in a bankruptcy court in White Plains. And with this resolution that's pretty exotic. I mean, Purdue has declared bankruptcy, but the Sackler family has not. They took $10 billion out of the company before it declared bankruptcy. And they have asked for this release, this kind of blanket immunity from any liability, any future lawsuits related to their role in the company. And so you have a number of states that are objecting. And
some states object to that very point. And they have also asked to admit to no wrongdoing whatsoever when it comes to OxyContin and their role, if as alleged, in the heroin or opioid thing. Why is that so important to them, admitting to no wrongdoing?
Well, it's been fascinating this past few days. This is a family that is talked about a lot, but we very seldom hear from them. And over the last couple of days, you've had 4 different members of the family who all served on the board of the company speaking out in open court and being questioned by lawyers. And what you realize is there is a stubbornness with this family. So on the one hand, they're prepared to pay $4.5 billion to effectively buy immunity. There's a real quid pro quo here. They're saying we do not want to be sued over any of this stuff ever again, and we're prepared to put up $4.5 billion to do it. On the other hand, when asked about this, they say we bear no responsibility for the opioid crisis. They were very, very stubborn under questioning and really refused to admit that they, the family, had ever made any wrong decisions in this long history of the company and the opioid crisis.
Quick question before I move on to one more. They are not alone, the Sacklers and Purdue Pharma, in selling opioid painkillers.
Not at all. I mean, there are a whole bunch of different companies that did so. And many of those companies are also now facing big legal challenges, as are the pharmaceutical distributors, as are the pharmacy chains themselves. So this is one piece of a much bigger litigation puzzle.
You mentioned a moment ago, and I just want to drill down on it one more. The family has agreed to pay $4.5 billion. How does that compare with the family's total fortune? And how long is the payout of that $4.5 billion? Is it in a single lump sum, or is it a kind of annuitized payout over dozens of years, say?
Well, there's the rub. What their proposal is that they would pay it out over 9 or 10 years, with the bulk of the payments actually coming later in that schedule. And their fortune is estimated to be about $11 billion today. So critics have pointed out that when you look at it that way, $4.5 billion is actually not that much money. And there's a good chance that they could end up paying this off over the next decade and not even having to touch their principal of their fortune.
Patrick Radden-Keefe, thank you for your insights tonight. We appreciate it.